Hey, what's going on? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you know who I am, I'm the one and only. Today I'm with Jose Mendieta. He used to be a what?
I used to work in the fulfillment center and the Amazon Fresh Center.
And he used to be a delivery driver, and now he's a dispatcher, but he knows both sides of Amazon, so delivery side and the fulfillment side. So he's gonna help us explain what's the difference between the two of them and which one's better. So in your opinion, straight up right now, before you go into detail, which one is better in your opinion?
Fresh. And the reason why Fresh is as good is because it was just what I worked. I had something called part-time flex where you got to choose your own hour.
Fresh? What's fresh?
Fresh?
Yeah.
That's where you like deal with food and all that kind of stuff. There's literally 3 areas in the warehouse. It's like how in your kitchen you have something that I call the cabinet, then you have the refrigerator, and it's kind of cold, so you need to wear a jacket in there, and then you have the freezer where you have to wear PPE, gloves. Jackets,
okay, so in the
stuff.
warehouse there's 3 areas?
In the Fresh warehouse, there's 3 areas.
In the fresh warehouse?
Yeah.
In the fresh warehouse is food?
Yes.
And then you worked in the fresh warehouse?
Yep, I've worked in that one, and I've worked in the fulfillment center.
Okay, so in the fresh warehouse, there's food. And you said fresh is the best?
Yes.
Go ahead, you were explaining why?
I was explaining that it was just based off of the hours that I worked. I only worked 5 hours, but I got to choose my own hours.
Okay.
And that was awesome. And then once I got into a groove there, and it was much faster to get into a groove there, it was a lot easier.
So what about the fulfillment center?
Fulfillment center, I worked at for 8 months, but not consecutively. I'd done what probably many people have done when they worked at Amazon. I worked there for like a couple weeks, and then I hated it, and then I wanted to leave, like everybody does. So I worked there for 3 months, hated every single second of it.
Oh, the fulfillment center, right?
Yes. I left for a week, like you did for FedEx, and then I came back.
Don't bring that up.
Then I came back, and then I worked there for a full 8 months. It sucked both times, but it was a little bit better the second time.
So why did it suck so bad? What was the worst thing about the fulfillment center?
You have to stand on your feet for 10 hours. I'm flat-footed. That hurt terribly. And then your endurance over the week, as you do 4 consecutive days,
So
goes down.
it's 4 days on, 3 days off?
Supposedly, yes.
Do you get called in a lot?
There's a lot of mandatory overtime. So every other week you will have mandatory overtime, more than likely.
So you said you stand in place for 10 hours. You don't get breaks, or do you get breaks, or?
You get breaks, and you get them every 2 hours or 2.5 hours, like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that.
For how long are your breaks?
So the first break and the last break are 15 minutes, and the break in the middle is your lunch break, and you don't get paid for that. That's 30 minutes.
Same thing as delivery driver. Was it hard? Was it easy? Was it boring? Did you find it difficult?
So the work is not difficult. It's not hard at all. It's boring and it's grind. Everybody says this job is hard, but the hardest part is you have to do one thing over and over all night, bored, tired, probably in pain with your feet. Yeah, it's a grind, man. That's all that job is. But just like all Amazon jobs, the best thing about it is as long as half your body is working and you have a pulse, you get the job.
What are the times? What times do you start in the fulfillment center?
My times, there were 2 times. There was day shift and there was night shift.
Okay.
I did night shift, which means my time started at 6 o'clock and ended at 5:30 in the morning.
And the morning shift starts at what?
After my shift ends, so 5:30 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. And you say you did it for 8 months?
Yes, I did it for 8 months non-consecutively.
Was that the worst thing about it? Just the time, or standing there for 10 hours straight?
It's purely probably just because of the mandatory overtime. That didn't help. 5 days straight, 2 days off. That's not what they promised. Obviously, it's 4 days on, 3 days off. That would be a lot better. So that's another terrible reason why you don't want there. Then there's also shipments per hour or something like that. You have to reach a quota, so you can't go slow. It may be boring, but you still can't go slow. They will be watching you for that. They send people over. They sit there and try to watch you breathing down your neck. You got managers that don't do nothing except stand around and socialize with everybody else, and that'll piss you off too if you're not somebody who wants to be happy.
So you have to meet a quota, so you have to have a certain amount of packages before your shift ends, or before the hour, or?
So they would post a sheet of paper in my facility. They post a sheet of paper every break time to show us what our SPH was and were we meeting it. And they do it by percentage. So you just look at your name and see what your percentage is. Yeah, you can look at the other numbers, but you don't care about that. You just care about your percentage and who's the best and who's the worst and all that kind of nonsense.
Then you have to get a certain amount done before your shift ended, right?
You just have to meet 100%. You could go higher, but I always say do the base amount, because what's the heck's the point of doing more? An extra ticket in a raffle?
So if you had to choose between the two, what would it be? Would you rather be a delivery driver, or would you rather work in the fulfillment center?
No, delivery all the way. You don't have to be on your feet all day. You get to sit down as you're driving. Yeah, you have to walk, but who cares, because you get to sit right back down. You get air conditioning. The fulfillment center does not have air conditioning, neither does the fresh center. You do it like anytime it's cold outside today, which means it'd be a little colder in the warehouse, but think about it when it's hot. That place becomes an oven. You're gonna be sitting in an oven doing nothing. Yeah, definitely delivery.
Delivery is much better. You don't have people breathing down your neck. You go at your own pace. And when you're at the fulfillment center, people are making you work, or
it's literally just the fact that like you get to be on your own. The one thing that the fulfillment center doesn't do that delivery drivers can do is that delivery drivers, they have to trust you with doing your job. And I do my job. And anybody else that does their job, you'll have a smooth time with delivery. Fulfillment center, even if you're doing the right thing, they still come at you saying, go faster. And it's like, nah, man, I don't have time for that.
So they're just forcing you to go faster, and
they don't force you to, but it's kind of annoying when you have somebody pestering you over and over again about going faster, or why did you slow down at this certain time and all that kind of nonsense. All Amazon jobs have this same problem where depending on what you're doing, you can go faster or slower based off of what they give you. So fulfillment, I did something called AFE. AFE is where they have items on cubbies behind us, and then I just take the items out of the cubbies and put them in boxes. That's how they calculate the SBH. But if there were 20 tiny little items, you get counted for 20. And if there was one giant big item, you only get counted for 1. So it doesn't matter how long it took you for you to box that, or that you're the one that grabbed that. So you'd have some people who are breaking expectations and all that kind of stuff because they were sitting there going to other people's side of their walls and taking their mini little packages so they can break the SBH. It was I'm not even gonna lie.
So you would choose delivery over the fulfillment center any day, right?
Every day.
Were you able to listen to music while you're standing there? Earphones, anything like that?
Actually, in the fulfillment center, you're not able to even touch your phone. They don't want you on your phone. They actually, I think they made you put you couldn't bring your phone in. Like, they have a metal detector, and you could not bring your phone inside. And the reason why is because they say they don't want you to, like, people stealing items and coming out with something that they shouldn't have. So if you don't go in with anything that you shouldn't have, you should come back out the same way. So you couldn't bring your phone in, nothing. So that's another reason why it's boring and a grind, because you can't entertain yourself during that time. You have to focus exactly on your work. But to do that for 10 hours for something you don't love, you can't do that, man.
They didn't let you talk to people and stuff?
You can talk to people, but for someone like me, I'm not a talker. I like going to my job and doing my job. If I have the space to, and if there's like some people that I'm friendly with, like say you or some other like dispatchers, then sure, I'm okay with socializing in that way. But I don't actively search for it. So no music allowed if you're in the fulfillment center. No fun allowed. Do your job. You can't take your phone in. You got to go in like you came out with nothing on you, basically. Sucks.
You're working 10-hour shifts. Are there any other shifts, or everything's 10 hours?
I think there was a part-time guy and seasonal workers and all that kind of stuff, but I just worked the 10-hour shift.
Okay, so there's 10-hour shift. There's only 2 shifts, the night shift and the day shift, right?
As far as I know, yes.
As far as you know, I've heard of some people actually starting like at 3 in the morning.
Right.
And not leaving till, in the afternoon or maybe?
Sounds about 1 in the afternoon, so maybe 10 hours then.
Yeah. Delivery driving is much more on your own. Nobody there to tell you what to do, breathing down your neck. You can listen to music. You have AC. You have heater if you need it. Yes, you'll walk a lot, but you'll also sit down a lot.
Right.
So there's a lot of differences there. In your opinion, delivery is a lot better. Is it a lot easier in your opinion as well?
Yes, it's
a lot easier.
I mean, it's not like the ones in the facility is hard or anything like that, but it's much easier because it's a lot less packages. So in the facility, you're just working until the 10 hours are up. In delivery, you're working until your packages are gone. You ain't picking up no more, at least as far as I know, unless you're doing like rescues or splits or anything like that. But at least you're making extra money when that happens. For Amazon, no, you're working that whole 10 hours. They don't run out of items. You just keep going until the 10 hours are up.
Do you get to choose your break, or they tell you when to go to break?
To be fair, all I did was just look around at everybody and see if they were moving. And if they were moving, that's break time to me. You know what I mean? Or in another time they tried doing break time, they'd have like a bullhorn, and they'd like use that little siren feature to like blare to everybody that it's break time, you know? And don't be looking at the clock, because that time won't move real slow if you're doing that. Forever. I hate it.
I know for a fact that when you're somewhere just standing there and you're looking at the clock, time is gonna go super slow. But when you're delivering, the day goes by super quickly because you're trying to get out at a certain time. You're moving, but it feels like you're not moving fast enough because you want to get out at 6, for example, and you still have like 50 deliveries left, and it's already 5 o'clock, and you're like, dang, I'm not gonna make it. So when you're delivering, it feels, to me, I don't know about you,
it does.
It goes a lot faster. Your day goes a lot faster.
You can look away like 3 hours passes.
So the breaks are better when you're delivering, nobody breathing down your neck. You can go at your own pace.
Yep.
Nobody rushing you. Just overall, delivery is a lot better. You don't have to talk to people. You don't have to deal with people. You sometimes talk to customers, but rarely. At the fulfillment center, you never talk to customers, but you'll talk to people that are there if you want. Do people slack when?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got a good story for you. So there was this one person at the fulfillment center that I absolutely hated.
Okay.
I hated him.
Yeah.
He was a black guy. He was definitely foreign. Don't know from where. He was that type that I told you that goes to different walls and steals your small items. And I saw him doing it. Every time he did one shipment, he'd then sit there on the counter being sleepy and all that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
And I knew he was doing it, so I chose to do it back to him. And the second I did that, that's when like he went back to my wall to get my small stuff and all that kind of stuff. So I knew we were battling at that time. I hated that guy. Of course, and he slacked off. And the worst part was I had a manager walk up to him afterwards. Oh, good job, man. Your SPH is like so high. And it's like, yeah, I wonder why.
So the warehouse, if somebody slows down, does that slow you down? Does that make your life harder?
No.
Okay.
Like when it comes to like, again, it's a cubby on the wall and you have your own section to work at.
Okay.
So you're just working that one section. If you slow down, it doesn't really stop anybody else from like doing their part of the section.
Yeah, because in delivery, you can go at your own pace.
Yeah.
You can go as fast as you want, as slow as you want, preferably as fast as you want, because you don't want to get out of there too late. Some DSPs don't want overtime. Did the fulfillment center care about overtime?
With all the mandatory overtime that they're assigning, no, they don't.
So you can get all the overtime you want.
Not as much, not necessarily you want, but
As much as they need, I guess.
Yeah, as much as they force you to come in with. It's not like you can say, I want to come in for an extra day or anything like that.
Yeah.
But more than likely, they definitely have you come in for an extra day.
What about the pay? What's the pay like?
So this was before, the fulfillment center was before when Amazon started doing $15 everybody.
Yeah.
I actually was working at the Fresh Center before, or like when the $15 for everybody thing came. So my pay at that time was technically, like I think it was $12 to do like the fulfillment center. And then I got an extra 50 cents for working on the weekend and another 50 cents for working at night. So I made $13. And then for the first 6 months, they give you 25-cent raise. The next 6 months, 25 cents. And then it'd be a year increment where they start giving you 50-cent increases until you reach like a certain max. So I think maybe 2 years you reach the maximum that they could give you and be, I guess, like a tier 3 associate. I don't know what that's supposed to mean because I never reached that and I'm very happy that I didn't.
The max you made was $13 an hour?
$13.50. That's the max I made.
Okay. And as a delivery driver, 15, right?
Yes.
And not including bonuses or whatever.
Yeah, that's not
including bonuses. That's a lot better than working at the fulfillment center, because I had a lot of people asking, what's the difference between the fulfillment center? What's the difference between delivery driver? Which one is better? And in Jose's opinion, I've never worked inside, but he has worked inside, outside. The Fresh Center, I didn't even know they had a Fresh Center, which is where they pack food, right?
Yes.
What is that, like grocery kind of food?
Yeah, dead honest what it is. It's basically a grocery store inside of a warehouse that somebody packs in a bag and takes their groceries to your door for you.
Okay. I didn't even know we did that. And they pay $13 an hour inside, $15 as a delivery driver. In my opinion, I wouldn't want to work at a fulfillment center because of all the stories I've heard, not from only him, but from people on YouTube, all the comments and stuff. Making $13 an hour to stand there for 10 hours and somebody breathing down your neck. Being a delivery driver, you can jam out to music. Like they say, you have AC in the warehouse, they might not have AC or a heater if it's cold.
Right.
In the van, you have all that unless your van really, really sucks. You get to go at your own pace. You get to see scenery, not just stare at the conveyor belt with boxes coming, right? Because there's a conveyor belt.
That's exactly what happened.
You're standing at a conveyor belt, picking up boxes and putting it in a tote.
Yep,
basically
that's
all
exactly
you do.
what you're doing.
And you're doing that for 10 hours straight. So that must be boring as heck. Sometimes I guess you're like daydreaming.
I daydream all the time.
That's why our packages are messed up, because the people like him.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's why this package that goes over here is supposed to be over there. You know what I mean? In your 100% opinion, delivery driver, if you want to start somewhere, you recommend delivery driver over fulfillment center?
Yes. 100%.
In order to be a delivery driver, no, you have to be 21 years of age to be a delivery driver. Fulfillment center, you have to be 18, correct?
Right.
Just so you know, that's the age that you need to be. Did I miss anything? What do you want to add?
No, the only thing that I wanted to say was just the fact that like that $13 thing is only for back then before they started doing $15 for everybody in Amazon.
Okay, so now they're doing $15.
It should be $15
It should be
for
$15
every
now.
single Amazon job there is. But before, they also did do something where you stay there for 2 years, you get stock in Amazon. They're not doing that no more. Once they bumped everybody to $15, they took that away.
So now, supposedly, they're doing $15 an hour for everybody. So if you want to start off as inside, if you're too young to drive, go ahead and start on the inside just to start making money. And then later on, want to move to a DSP and be a delivery driver. So that's one way to get in the door. Was it hard getting into the fulfillment center?
No,
like, was the process difficult?
You know, the funny thing is, that's why I say like all they need is like half your limbs working for you to have a pulse.
Yeah.
Is because in the fresh center there was a guy in a wheelchair. He was real slow, but they have to fulfill their disability quota. So don't worry if you're disabled. As long as you can move something, you're good. 2, no, it was not at all hard to get it. All you have to do is show up for orientation. And funnily enough, the person who ran the orientation literally told people who were there that if you smoke some weed or something like that, come back another day, and then obviously don't smoke weed. So for the drug test, that's it. That's how much they don't give a they just want live bodies doing their work. That's it.
And in the delivery process, how long did it take you to get hired? About how long? Was it more difficult than the fulfillment center?
Well, I actually had to do an interview for this one, but I wasn't nervous at all. Like, usually I'm nervous for interviews. For this one, because I consider it an Amazon job, I was just like, I don't mind, man. I already know it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
So
basically, it's not hard to get into both, right? It's pretty simple. It's just if you want to be a delivery driver, just know you have to be 21 years old. And I hope this answered your question, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jose, for answering all the questions. If you have any other questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll ask them for you because I work with the guy. He's gonna have to answer them because he has no choice.
I have no choice.
But if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, that bell notification button, so you can watch more awesome videos. And Jose, tell him to subscribe.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it.
Subscribe, guys, if you want to see more awesome video contents like this. I have Amazon delivery training videos, and if you're about to start, click on one of these videos over here. I'm about to block off Jose's face because he told you not to subscribe when you're supposed to subscribe. So click on one of these videos, and I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Tell them to subscribe.